Good morning. It's not morning, it's 2 something on Saturday. Okay, it's just a little bit of a story time. I want to give you guys a kitchen tour. Obviously by the title of this video that you can tell that's what this is. But I did want to kind of tell the story because I mean, probably anybody's kitchen reno, they've got a story, right? I mean, it's not an easy task. It takes months. You're just displaced in your own home the entire time. So there was always that kind of situation, but there's a little bit more to this because I love this kitchen, but it will always be a bittersweet project. But mostly sweet because that's what I'm choosing to feel about it. I wanted to do what I did in this kitchen for a long time, and the main thing was I wanted to, if you guys know from every other video I've done, I had a peninsula over in the main kitchen space, and that's where I would stand to do all of my demos and everything, and that's how the house was built, that's how we got it, and that's just how it was. But at some point I got a bright idea. I don't want this peninsula here anymore because there was so much wasted counter space for me because I'm only 5'2". So there was like this whole dead corner situation. It was really, really deep. It wasn't that wide, but it was really deep, so I wasn't utilizing the whole space at all. I was utilizing the space you saw me use, and that was it. And because of some other solutions that were lacking in this kitchen, that was really my only real workspace. I mean, I had sort of a landing spots on either side of the range and that kind of thing, but anyway, I added a lot of storage, and I'll give you a tour here in just a minute. But while this was all going on, my research, I was being told by every designer, you can't have an island in here, it's not big enough, you're gonna lose a bunch of counter space, and I was like, yeah, I'm the one doing the math here. I'm adding up what I have but I can't use versus what I have, what I'm replacing and what I'm adding. And it was like exponentially more space. And it is, and I was right and they were all wrong. Excuse me. But once I finally, my husband and I talked about it endlessly. We had, taped everything out on the floor of what the idea was. Because you don't want to start something like this until you know for sure it's going to work. Or be pretty sure it's going to work. And since I couldn't get a designer on board with me for some reason, if they saw it now, they would be like, you were right. But we really, really talked about it a lot, and I did a ton of research. And so about the beginning of July, middle of July, of this 2021, I pulled the trigger. My husband finally said, you've done the research. I get what you're saying, do whatever you want. So I did whatever I wanted. I mean, I did what we wanted, but I was my own designer in here. And so as soon as I embarked on that, it was like a Tuesday. It was a Tuesday, and I got a call from my brother. This is where it gets a little sad for a minute. I got a call from my brother letting me know that he'd talked to our stepdad and my mom was sick with COVID. She wouldn't let my stepdad tell us before this point. We had no idea. But she'd been sick with COVID for less than a week, maybe a week, I guess. But that he had just taken her to the hospital. So I embarked on this complete kitchen redo. I mean, it was completely gutted. At the same time that my mom was spending what turned out to be her final days in ICU in Las Vegas on a BiPAP machine. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all that. But we lost our mom. It was shocking. Probably didn't need to happen, but it did. And so that was what was happening while I was doing this totally unnecessary kitchen reno. So that's why I say this kitchen will always be bittersweet to me because it's very much tied to that time period. And it was crazy. It was like, I know that if I didn't have that, like it must have been like a God thing, just like making me obsess about this kitchen. I doubt that, but I don't doubt it, actually. I say that, but I don't, because if all I had during that time was the reality that we were most likely going to lose our mom, and then we did, if all I had was that and work, I didn't want to think about it. So instead, I had this big unnecessary project. And she would be really happy about that, you guys, just so you know. Anybody, a bunch of you know her. Was the salt of the earth and would always just want me to be happy. All of us to be happy. Anyway, we're going to move on from that a little bit. So we did we went through all the motions. We replaced all the cabinetry in here, which you'll see in a minute. I added this coffee bar that's here, which before it was just a hutch, antique hutch with all of my husband's mother's china in it. Where we had the coffee before, it was taking up, like all the coffee stuff was taking up that entire counter over where it was. And so I got a bright idea one day and I said, you know, what if we find another solution for the china and we have a coffee bar built, like a, you know, semi-custom coffee bar. So that's what we did. It has uppers and lowers and a sink and electricity and all the stuff. And it's just been phenomenal because that is the coffee station. It's not all over the kitchen. It's not taking up, you know, workspace at all. It's its own thing and we love it. You'll see that I switched around the pantry and the refrigerator. I don't know if you'll notice that. I don't know if you could have seen that in other videos, but I did that because of the island. I wanted the refrigerator sort of out of the mix a little bit for people's like butts so they don't bump into it, which it's plenty of room. That didn't happen anyway, but it's still a better location. So we switched that around. I removed all of our upper cabinets from the window wall. All pantries over there, pantries over here, tons of storage. If you're gonna do a kitchen reno, I highly recommend you put only drawers in your lower cabinets, except for under sinks. Of course, those have to be doors. But when we got down to the final finishes, you know, I picked my tile, and you'll see I have green, sort of a very Moroccan looking green zealage tile. I don't know how to say that word, but I think that's close. Over on this side, and then on this window wall over there, it's a totally different tile. But it's stunning. I hope it shows up well in this video. But the last piece of the puzzle was the countertops. My quartz countertops, I must have gotten, I don't know, 20 different samples. I'm like, every day I'm driving up to the place. My daughter was like, do we have to go back to the counter store again today? So, but you have to go and you have to get the samples and bring them into your space because it's a lot different in a showroom. It looks different in a showroom versus your own home. So that was the thing I think that took me the longest to decide. Everything else I was like, bam, 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 I know what I want. I maybe decided between, you know, I was gonna do actually instead of green, I was gonna do like a blush because that would have been pretty, but everybody was like, do the green. So glad I did. But the last piece of the puzzle was the quartz. And I finally narrowed it down to at least just two patterns, I guess, or whatever, designs, and still couldn't decide. I mean, every day I'd wake up, different times of the day, it was this one versus this one. So on the day that I finally chose my quartz, I finally had narrowed it down to two, and I had the two samples over there sitting in front of me in the space, and still couldn't decide. And for whatever reason, I just flipped them both over. I don't remember what the name of this one was, but this one was named Zion. And Zion, Utah was my mom's favorite place to hike. She was an avid hiker. And so I went, well, that's my quartz. And anyway, so it is absolutely stunning, this quartz. You'll see it in a minute. I love it. And basically when I'm giving you the tour, when I flip you around here in a minute and show you, I want you to observe it really wasn't a premeditated intentional thing. I wish I could say it was, but it's not, or it wasn't. But what ended up happening with my design and the elements that I picked out is that I have brown, they're sort of a gray brown lower cabinets, and then I have white upper cabinets, but I have the green backsplash and then this Zion countertop. And so what it ends up looking like is the brown lowers are earth, the countertop looks like tree limbs, and then the green backsplash represent the leaves. So I don't think I could have possibly intentionally designed a kitchen for myself that was more suited for me than I did. So anyway, with that, let me give you a tour and then we'll be done. Okay, so here's sort of the best shot I can get of everything. So we're just gonna we'll start with the coffee bar. So this is the coffee bar that I added that was just really a display area for our china. We had to add plumbing and electrical here, which we did. We have the green backsplash tile there. It's a Zelige style. I don't know how to say that word, but it's just beautiful. It looks sort of Moroccan to me, and I just absolutely love it. But it has tons of storage. So like, you know, instead of having all of our coffee and everything all over the counters, or we would have like stuff, our cabinets didn't go all the way to the ceiling before, so we would have, you know, we'd shove boxes like up there. It's really classy. We have space for all of our coffee cups and everything, travel mugs and whatnot. You get the idea. So that's that. We have not done our light rail, which if you don't know what that is, it goes right at the base of the cabinets and it prevents this from happening, where you can see these lights and all the hardware and everything. We still have to install that, so just ignore it for now. Coming over here, this is the, there's kind of messy. This is where I had my grow space, and I'll still have it here, but you can see we put these massive pantries on either side of that window, and wow, so much storage. It's crazy. As I said, I think I said, yeah, I removed all of our uppers on this wall. It just really opens the space up a lot. Again, all drawers. It's just, it's amazing what it does. Oh, I included a little overhang with one stool so my daughter can sit there, and then when like my son is here or her boyfriend is here, there's the other stool with my car mats that my husband got me for Christmas are sitting here. But anyway, but all drawers. So like, you know, for example, how nice is that? It's just, it's so much easier, so much less back breaking. These are all soft close, all that jazz. Over here, obviously we have the range and the hood. Before, you might have noticed or remembered, I had the microwave there, and I didn't want that, so I did a drawer microwave. I know some people hate them. I love this thing. People, not really sure why, but people complain that they get really dirty or they're hard to clean or something. I have never cleaned this since we got it. Why? Because I use this, so I don't have a big mess. So there's that. The other thing that was interesting is that once we got these cabinets installed right here, this drawer and this drawer wouldn't open all the way. They would only open to right here because our range that we had, the existing range, was too deep. So I guess I could have left it like that and not worried about it, but when you do a whole kitchen reno, you kind of want your cabinets to be functional. So I just saved up my pennies and got us this one. It's a Smeg, it's Italian, no more expensive than really any other range in its class. But it's wonderful. It's just, we absolutely love it. It has like my stove's such a mess. It has like a diamond shape to the burner. Whoa, here we go. So there's one here, one here, one here, one here. So you can actually have 4 pots cooking at the same time. Let's see, over here, this is where we removed that closet and put in an actual pantry. So 4 doors or whatever that is, 6, but you know, 4 sections. And then this here is where the refrigerator and pantry were switched around before, but I wanted to move the refrigerator kind of out of the mix again. So, and it's worked out really, really well. This board my son got me for Christmas. It's from Teak House. It's a teak board, and it is absolutely wonderful. And then my refrigerator. I'll tell you about my fridge. It's a Samsung Bespoke. I am not against Samsung like a lot of people. We've had a number of Samsung appliances and they're great. This one's just really pretty. So it's obviously this 4-panel design, which is kind of unique. It does not have water and ice dispensers on the outside of it. Instead, so it opens like a normal fridge on both sides. Pardon my really messy refrigerator. So both sides open like that. But then this here is your beverage station. And this is kind of like the coolest thing ever. This is an autofill pitcher. So it's filtered water from your refrigerator and it just detects if it's empty or, you know, if it's low, and it just autofills it. So we have like a fresh pitcher of cold water all the time. Like a really unexpected luxury there. And so it's not on the outside. And then down here, this is a, you know, freezer. It's slightly smaller. It is slightly smaller than your standard fridge, but it's plenty for me and my husband. I mean, it's just the two of us here. And then this is your ice. Just auto ice maker. But what's really cool, a really dumb feature that I was really into, you have your ice cubes, like this size. I won't put that back in there. And then you also, if you're feeling frisky, you have ice bites. So these are just little guys. Can't focus on it, but there. You get the idea. So that's really cool. We really like this fridge. And the other kind of special thing about it is that, oh, it got really yellow in here. It's not, it's so bright in this kitchen, it's ridiculous. These panels come in like 8 different colors. So you could literally get pink glass panels or blue glass panels or green or black or whatever you wanted. I opted for white. When we got them, I was like, oh, these aren't really white, but it kind of, I just like it. I like how it sort of adds a little dimension with the dimension richness. I don't know the word, but we have all these white upper cabinets, and so it kind of broke it up a little bit. It is, the only complaint I have is that it is listed as a countertop depth refrigerator, and it is not. It is definitely not, because this is 24-inch base. I mean, not base, but cabinet, and it sticks out probably 6 inches. But the other refrigerator that we had stuck out about a foot, so it looked really dumb and just really gigantic. And so anyway, we replaced that. This is the countertops, or these are the countertops I was telling you about that are called, the design is called Zion, and I just think they're spectacular. I love the way the veining kind of spills over onto the edges. It's so pretty to me. I wanted something bold, but like not obnoxious. And that's kind of why my approach with every finish in here. You know, I have this counter to ceiling tile that we did the whole length of this wall. I wanted it to be a bit of a focal point, as it is, as you can see, but it's not, you know, full of color and things to make you feel dizzy. So that's pretty much the tour of the kitchen. I'll back out here so you can see the rest. Coffee bar. So you can see how it really opened everything up. Instead of this blocking off this whole section, you know, now it's just all, it's all like a big room. So, you know, we don't have an open concept house by any means, but this was cool. Anyway, that is it for now. I'm gonna wrap this up, get this edited and uploaded, and hope you guys have a great weekend. Bye for now.